What's up, everybody? How's it going? Ryan here, back with you with another episode of This Week in Hearthstone. I do want to quickly note and apologize for you guys that if there are any pauses or breaks within this episode, it is because I am still a little bit sick, and so I have some random sporadic coughs happening every once in a while. So if there is a random pause, then it is because I am coughing and all that fun stuff. I'm still a little bit sick. I'm at that part of my sickness where I'm just coughing basically, and everything else is pretty much gone. I don't have a fever. I don't have any of that. It's just like the random cough from like the random gross stuff in my throat, I guess, or whatever. So I apologize if the audio is not up to quality as always, and I also do apologize if there are some long pauses within this episode. Before we jump into it, just a few announcements that I wanted to make. First and foremost, for all of you audio listeners, we do also record and live stream this podcast on twitch.tv/Ryan Kubo, and we do export the VODs as well to my YouTube, which is at youtube.com/Shigeos Twitch TV. Those links are in the episode description below. But the reason why I mention that is because we have actually upgraded the setup, and beforehand, if you go and check out past broadcasts, past episodes of This Week in Hearthstone, you will notice that you will be able to see a background, my bed, and stuff like that. But because of just generous donations and support from the stream, from the listeners, etc., I was finally able to afford and get an Elgato green screen. So the setup looks a lot different and a lot better and a lot nicer. And so I just wanted to say thank you to all the listeners and to everyone who supported. I really do appreciate it, and I will definitely put it into good use to make the stream look a little bit more professional. Excited to do. But yeah, lastly, a couple of other things. We are on Spotify and iTunes. As most of you guys know, if you want to, you can check out the episode description where to check us out and where to listen to us on Spotify, where to listen to us on iTunes. Don't forget to follow, of course, and subscribe to both of those platforms so that you can get notified each and every time an episode is live and ready to listen to. Lastly, kind of works out because of my cough, but this episode is a pretty short episode. It is the week after Rostacon's Rumble, and it seems that there is literally not much news coming out for Hearthstone right now, which is not very surprising at all. We do have some stuff to talk about and some opinions to give, but besides that, pretty light news today on the show. So with that, let us. So today on Thursday, the 13th, if you guys didn't know, the Rumble Run was released. If you guys didn't know what that was, it is a single player content that has been advertised and showcased for the Rostacon's Rumble. It is their single player content this time around. A couple things to note about this, and there's a couple few things that are just a little slightly different from this one. There are no exclusive quests to gain packs. We've been noticing this trend a while, or not a while, but we've kind of been noticing this trend a little bit. I believe the last time they gave out packs, or at least free packs, was Witchwood. I do not believe there was one for Boomsday. That could be corrected if I'm wrong. And there's none for Rostacon's Rumble. What I mean by that is usually when a adventure came out or single player content came out, there was like a quest that was like, hey, beat 10 bosses and get a pack, or do this or that. There is nothing to earn a Rostacon Rumble pack this time around, so keep that in mind. Also, because of the way that the Rumble Run is set up this time around, you only need to beat the Rumble Run one time to earn the card back. Whereas in past expansions, you had to, beat all the lethal puzzles or do all the puzzles in Boomsday Project, or beat all the Witchwood bosses, or with every single character, or whatever it might be. This time around, you just need to complete the Rumble Run with exactly one run, and you will get the card back for completing it. I did play a little bit before recording this episode, and I will say that it actually is pretty challenging. There's a very big back and forth type of thing. If you guys didn't know, it kind of works like Kobolds and Catacombs Dungeon Run or the Witchwood Monster Hunt, except this time you choose a class, but that class is dedicated to a shrine. So sometimes you'll get warrior, paladin, warlock, let's say, and you have to choose one of the shrines, and there's 3 shrines per class. So it's going to be different every time, and you kind of build your decks around these shrines. And then say you choose paladin, the 8 opponents you face off against in the single player are going to be from the rest of the Hearthstone classes. Since there's 9 classes, 8 classes do a run, it's 8 opponents, you win, right? It's actually a lot more difficult than I expected it to be. I was even struggling, to be honest, on bosses 2 to 3, sometimes even 1. Just because there is definitely a back and forth tempo thing going on with these totems, right? Not all totems have the same amount of health. Not all totems do the exact same thing, obviously. But you don't want to keep a totem just sitting there, just doing whatever it wants to do for as long as possible. So there are times when you feel like the need to clear the totem, but then there's times where if you don't go face fast enough, the destroying the totem is not really going to matter at all. So it's definitely pretty hard. I think the farthest I got to was boss 6 or 7. I've only dabbled in it for about an hour. So yeah. The article that I linked is kind of out of date because this morning Ali Straza with David Kozak and Chris Sierra did a Hearthstone stream over on the official Hearthstone Twitch page, which is twitch.tv/playhearthstone, where they did check out the Rumble run. If you guys want to go check that out, you can check the VODs over at that Twitch or probably over at their YouTube as well, which is youtube.com/playhearthstone. Of course, though, it is free. You can just check it out now and play it yourself. But the article that is linked in the show notes does show all the Rumble specific cards, treasures, and teammates, list of all possible options for card bundles, and all the shrines and starting deck options for a total of 27 in total. So you can check those out, kind of metagame it, see which ones you think are the best and what you hope to grab as well. I'm sure that within a couple of weeks, there will be a list from Hearthstone Top Deck or something, or Hearthstone.com that will show you a guide to what you want to grab as probably the best or the easiest ones to complete or whatever. So, yeah, keep that in mind. In my opinion, I do enjoy the single player content. If you guys didn't know, I'm not a big like yay hurrah person of the single player content. I usually never really finish it for the card back. I don't really care about the card back. I have a card back I really enjoy, the Thrill of Victory card back, which is pretty sought after, I guess you could say. So I don't really change my card backs that often. So for me, just playing it kind of gets, I guess, boring after a few hours, and then I'm kind of back to ranked mode. I actually really did enjoy the Boomsday Project, a single player with the lethal puzzles and stuff. I thought that was really, really cool, really, really fun, and I actually got the card back for that unintentionally. And I believe I got the card back for Knights of the Frozen Throne, which wasn't a card back; it was Arthas, the Paladin hero, which I thought was super, super fun as well. But with this, I feel like Hearthstone does this thing where they innovate, they create something really cool and unique, and then they kind of go on a repeating spree of 2 to 3 times where they just keep repeating and repeating and repeating the same thing over and over again, right? Which, Kobolds and Catacombs in the Dungeon Run came out, was like really, really cool, really, really, really unique. But then Witchwood came out, and it was pretty much the same thing except a little different. New heroes. And then this one came out, and it's kind of just, it's Kobolds and Catacombs Dungeon Run, but Rastakhan themed, right? They seem to not be that different for me, and so it's pretty fun for a little bit, but for some reason, whatever that might be, I just feel like after a while, I just kind of get over it and I stop playing it. So that's just my opinion on it. It is very fun to play for now, and I do enjoy it a lot. So I would definitely say to go check it out and see how it is. That's actually probably the biggest news that we have for today, but we do have a couple of more articles just to go over for this week. Next up, we just had a Hearthstone hotfix. That is a pretty small patch update that was applied to Hearthstone that fixed a couple of things. It reduced Zentimo's animation times when combined with certain spells, and it doubled Janali the Dragonhawk's battlecry will no longer cause instability. And Zentimo's text has been clarified whenever you target a minion with a spell casted again on its neighbors. All of Warlord Lodi's forms now have legendary borders, fixed an issue that could cause overkill to trigger incorrectly, and for Android, fixed an issue that could cause the game to get stuck after installation. So these are pretty much just like hotfixes that have been complained about. I know that with the Zentimo's animation time, when combined with certain spells, it was literally with unstable evolution, where it took a super, super, super long time to be able to cast those spells, and I think your turn would just end before you can even utilize it all. I'm not really sure, but yeah, um, pretty simple hot fix. It's pretty um light, and you should be able to download it pretty quickly within the mobile store or through the BattleNet launcher. But if you guys were wondering what the hot fix was, nothing really major. That's all it was. There was no patch notes for it, and I kind of had to search for it. And luckily, Hearthstone was able to throw them up as well. But yeah, that was what the Hearthstone hot fixes were. Lastly, actually, and this is probably gonna. Oh, I guess I should say second to last article or whatever. But there is a brand new brawl that came out yesterday, but it is called a Royal Recipe, and it's actually a brawl that gives you a Rostacon's Rumble card pack instead of a classic card pack. So if you guys want to go do that, go check it out right now, and that will be super fun, super good to play. You pick yourself a class, and you get the deck recipe shown. Um, Corresponding to the class that you choose. So you choose Mage, you get a deck recipe for Mage, and obviously it's the Rostacon Rumble Mage one. So 9 different decks, you get to choose what you want to play. It's pretty simple of a brawl. I don't see a lot of replayability in it. It's clear that some decks are stronger than others from the deck recipes. For example, I was playing Even Rogue. I needed a complete Rogue quest, and I was like, this is not fun. But then I was playing like Odd Mage. I was like, oh, this is really fun, right? So there's definitely like different decks that you know, are it's just an imbalanced brawl. Let's just put it that way. But if you haven't checked any of the Rostacon cards, or if you haven't really checked out any of the pre-made cards, this is a pretty cool way of doing it and trying it out. Play it. You might as well against yourself, against your friend, whatever. Get that Rostacon Rumble card pack as well. Lastly, and this is something that I kind of wanted to bring onto the show for the last few episodes or so, and I think that it just works out really well. If you guys didn't know, there is a site called vicioussyndicate.com. They work with hsreplay.net. If you guys don't know what both those sites are, let me just backtrack for a bit. hsreplay.net is one of the sites that I personally use to get a lot of my Hearthstone decks. It is a site that's backed up by statistics and analytics from the Hearthstone deck tracker. The deck tracker is something that you use that uploads your games and your win-loss streaks to hsreplay.net and correlates the statistics. So from this, they're able to kind of see, okay, there's about 100,000, 200,000 people using the Hearthstone deck tracker, however many numbers that may be. They upload this and they say, okay, these are the best decks at this rank, at this rank, at this rank, and this is overall what the meta is and how good the meta is. Vicious Syndicate takes the data from your Hearthstone deck tracker and also applies it to their algorithm, and they upload these every single week. This is report number 114, and they also come out on Thursday morning, so I thought it was really convenient that we probably could talk about these. Now, keep in mind, this is what the meta is going to be like a week ago, because these are the past games up to a week ago. There's 3,700 contributors, so keep that in mind as well, that this data isn't like the biggest pool, but it's over a wide spread of games. They had over 60,000 games, 2,000 at Legend, 15K at ranks 1 through 4, ranks 5 to 9, 26,000, ranks 10 to 14, 8,000. Sorry guys, if you're below rank 15, they don't calculate your ranks just because it's way too volatile. It seems like when it comes to all ranks, which before I get any further, this article will be down in this episode description below, so you can check it out yourself. But it seems like Hunter, Rogue, Mage, Paladin, Warlock, Druid, Shaman, Priest, Warrior are the most decks that have the most archetype distribution within this week. And then there's some stuff that's just talking about like minimum games, matchup win rates, and stuff like that. The thing that I usually go to is down here, which is the Vicious Syndicate power rankings, and this is basically shows which decks they believe are tier 1 according to the data, according to the power score, according to how often they see it, and according to the meta score. It's kind of interesting, and this is something that we've talked about on this podcast before, but it really does look like the outliers of any of the metas for the next maybe year plus now is going to be the Witchwood cards, Baku, the Moon Eater, and Gen Greymane. A lot of the decks that are at the top are basically odd or even decks because of the hero powers and because of how powerful they are. So we're looking at Odd Paladin at 57.35%, Cube Hunter at 54.16, Spell Hunter at 54.05, Secret Hunter at 52.99, Even Warlock at 52.57, and Taunt Druid at 52.28. If you guys don't know, if you're kind of new to Hearthstone, Odd Paladin usually counters Hunter pretty easily because of how many tokens they can put out and stuff like that. So you're looking at Paladin usually counting Hunter, and since Hunter was super popular this time around because of Spell Hunter and because of Zul'jin the hero, a lot of people are just countering spell or Hunters with Paladins, and then on top of that, even Warlock counters Paladins because of Hellfire and Defile, and Taunt Druid is there because it has a pretty good win rate against Paladin as well. But overall, it does seem like Odd Paladin is the #1 winner here. From there, tier 2 goes Kingsbane Rogue, Odd Warrior, Tog Waggle, Druid, etc. And you guys can check that out below. But one of the interesting things here is they have a rank discussion and they break down every single archetype and every single deck. But pretty much what they said is there really is no new cards that are being added from Rostacon's Rumble into the current meta deck. So for example, if you guys were to grab Odd Paladin right now and build Odd Paladin, it's literally the exact same deck that we had from the Booms project. There's nothing new in it. There's nothing really added from Rostacon's Rumble. People are still experimenting for fun, but from what the data shows, this might be one of the least impactful expansions of all time since they've started the Vicious Syndicate data report. So go check that out. The deck links are also within the article as well if you want to check out some stuff. This is kind of the reason why I haven't personally been playing a lot of ranked so far, is just because it seems like the meta is kind of meh. But some decks to look out for: Cube Warlock, Even Paladin, and Token Druid as well. But yeah, go check out that article as well. I'll be playing some more ranked probably this week and seeing if all this stuff is true. Luckily, just got Golden Paladin a little bit ago, and I can probably use that to play some Odd Paladin and just rank up really fast. I think I'm at rank, I don't know, 18 or something like that. I haven't really been playing much ranked. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for this episode of This Week in Hearthstone. I know it was a short one, like I said, but not too much news coming out this week. But I appreciate you guys coming by regardless, though. My name is Ryan. You can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at RyanKubo, Ryan Kubo, all one word, all lowercase. Or you can follow me on YouTube at SHIGEOS, Twitch TV. That's Shigeos, Twitch TV. Thank you guys for bearing with my cough. Thank you guys for the well wishes and hoping that I get better. And thank you guys once again for donating and contributing to getting this green screen. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys next week, next Thursday, with another episode. Take care, guys. Later.